Welcome to the India Joy Influencer Con 2021.
Hello everyone, welcome to another session of InfluencerCon. Today we have with us three uber cool people, educators, mothers and influencers if I may call them so. They're the first generation of content creators to break stereotypes about taboos and make sex education and tips on parenting accessible to everyone. What makes them real and believable is their personal life anecdotes with their children Maya, Sarangan and Sarah. Swati, more commonly known as Maya's Amma, is a psychologist, parenting and lactation counselor, a sex educator. Gota Haripriya is a parenting counselor and her Vaida Why series is to die for. The calm in her voice and the smile with which she asks serious questions will make you think. We have Rama Kumar, who's a storyteller, teacher, theatre artist and an anchor. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome on board. Let's start with the discussion. My first question would be actually to Swati. We keep hearing this question very often. What is the right age to start sex education?
Okay. This is the most common question that gets asked in my classes also. Unfortunately, there is no curriculum that a parent can follow. I'm sure it'll be easy if we get a timetable, if we get an age-wise, between 1 and 3, please talk about this. Between 3 and 6, please talk about this. If we get this kind of a timetable, it'll be easy, but then that's not how it works. So it's sex education is the same as talking about anything else. For example, with a child as little as 1, when you talk about getting angry or getting frustrated, or are you happy, are you excited, the same way is how we communicate. Are you feeling safe? Did you feel unsafe? Did you feel uncomfortable? What did this person make you feel? Why are you crying now? Right? So it's the same thing that we do with all the other parenting aspects that we do with sex education as well, talking about body parts openly. It starts from age 9, 10 months onwards. Parents talk very openly with their children about eyes. This is your eyes, nose and mouth and all that. And babies just, stare at you when you explain these things. So along with these body parts, you talk about the private parts also with the same openness, the same honesty and integrity. And at each stage, you will get something or the other to talk about. For example, your child might be just 2 years old, but then the child that's playing on the bed, which is watching its mother take the sanitary napkin from the cupboard, that child will observe how the mother's facial expressions change or how her body language changes when she keeps this sanitary napkin in between some dresses and then, slowly sneaks into the bathroom. So the child suddenly sees the change in the mother's body language. So you don't have to teach anything to your children. They will be automatically learning from what you are doing at home, what you're saying at home, how you're communicating with your partner at home. They get to learn a lot of things even without your conscious effort. So there is no age in which sex education can start. It has already started. You just don't know about it. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
Thank you so much. Very beautifully answered. And I also think that it depends on how comfortable as parents we are with our own bodies. Right? So thank you so much for answering the question. I'm just going to move forward to the next question. Do you think parenting differs depending on the gender of the child? Not just in the sense of roles and responsibilities, but also behavior-wise. Maybe Haripriya or Rama ma'am can answer this. Yeah.
Can I go first? Yeah. Okay. So I think that parenting doesn't change depending on gender. It's just the same. Not even with roles and genders and behavior. I think it's more of the stereotype that we have in our head. I think the moment we begin to unlearn, we realize that both of them are equally human, the same way. They have the same kind of emotions, they have the same kind of feelings. So in my personal experience also, and science also says that gender neutral parenting is the way to go forward to raise more healthier generations.
From you, what's your take on this?
I definitely think that still the old system and the old practices still continue, and there is a difference in how we raise a boy and a girl. Maybe we do more fun things together. We give them more freedom in certain things, but when it comes to once it is sunset, the rules once the sun sets, the rules for girls and the rules for boys are totally different even now. And of course that is understandable because mainly considering the safety of the girl. So but I think that we also need to first talk to both the genders, both boys and girls, about why it is necessary to keep our girls safe, and that conversation has to be had with the boys also. They are also responsible for creating a safe society and a safe neighborhood. um, but in my varied experience and I have lived in many different places in the world. I have seen that still for the girls, it is considered unsafe to be out of the house after sunset.
Thank you. Swati or Haripriya, do you want to add anything to what's just been discussed?
I think Swati and me share almost the same view in that, and I think she will have a better clarity to talk about it. Yeah.
No, I mean, what she said is true. This is what is a reality, but what can be done is what we talk about. Me, Goda, and all. We are part of a huge parenting network with a lot of young parents who have babies and toddlers and preschoolers. So we are able to do a lot of things because these children do not have any kind of societal stereotypes inflicted or injected into them. So they are very neutral. So it's very easy for us to be neutral because the children are really young. Once they cross prepubescent age or maybe enter into puberty, and once they themselves see their bodies changing and all that, and they also start getting that feeling, are we equal? Are we the same? Should we be the same? And they see a lot of things in the family. Like I told you, you don't have to evidently do anything to make the child learn anything. You just have to make the child participate in day-to-day activities, and they'll automatically learn. When they go to a wedding and then when they see the bride falling on the groom's feet, they automatically understand that in some way there is some kind of equality. Somebody else is superior than the other person. Even in a marriage, there is no equality. They're seeing the same thing at home. Mama comes back after office and quickly gets fresh and get into the kitchen. Dad comes back after office and sits on the sofa and then asks the mother to get some tea. So if they're seeing this at home versus they see both the parents getting into the kitchen, one person making snacks, the other person making tea, both of them asking the child what happened at school. So in our support group, we are able to do it at a better way because these children are really young, and the parents in our group are also, they're very eager to learn. They want to know how to do this gender neutral parenting. It's actually not rocket science. It's very easy. But when we give them these pointers and tips and suggestions and all, they take it very seriously. And then a lot of them are very successfully able to do it today.
So following up with the same topic, there's this general perception, right? Introducing gender and concepts of sexuality to children at an early age might cause confusion to them. What's your take on it, Vati?
Like I told you in the beginning, there is no timetable or there is no chart that we follow at what age you introduce what concept. These concepts should be integrated into your day-to-day lives very organically. For example, when the child asks a question about their clothing, say for example, why am I only wearing pants? Why can't I wear skirts? Then you can give them a statement, a very neutral statement like, you can also wear skirts if you want. Do you want skirts? Shall I get you some skirts? Or you can be very neutral. For example, my daughter has asked us several times, why does Papa not wear nail polish? So Papa has not said even one day that, boys don't wear nail polish or men don't wear nail polish. He just says, I don't like wearing nail polish. Right? So it's in the way that you consciously try to communicate with your child. Like, for example, the other day, like this was last year actually, during the pandemic, we were watching, I was watching an English movie, a rom-com. She's not supposed to watch the content that I watch, but she was playing outside. She just quickly comes in and then she watches this gay marriage. And she immediately asks me, I can only see the grooms. Where are the brides? So then I told her, so I could have been a parent that, if I wanted to hide this from her, I could have actually told her the brides are waiting somewhere else. There's two marriages happening and both these grooms are waiting or something. I could have said. Obviously, my child would have believed it also, right? But I chose to say in their country, two men can get married, so they're getting married. And she was like, "Oh, okay. So if two girls can get married, can they do that in their country? Yeah, they can." And she said, "Okay, fine. Bye. I'm going to play." That's all. So the conversations can be integrated into day-to-day activities, day-to-day incidents, experiences very organically. If the parent is very conscious about these concepts, if they are not too conscious about it, and like you said, if they are not too comfortable themselves, or if they don't know much about the gender spectrum or about relationships and emotions and all, they'll obviously not, do any of these things. Yeah.
Anything to it? Say anything?
Yeah, I think confusion is part of life. When you know some things, you get confused. When you don't know, you are even more confused. So at every stage, this learning, unlearning it happens. I mean, even at the age of 50 or 60, you're still getting to know so many things, and you get a different perception. And you said, "Oh, that's what it meant when somebody said this to me when I was 9 years old." So just because it adds to confusion or it creates confusion, I don't think it should be avoided. Definitely, it should be introduced, and like Swati said rightly, that it has to happen organically, naturally. Whenever the conversation comes up, or whenever the child is observing something, instead of just brushing it away, saying, "Oh, that's how it is," or "You will know when you grow older. When you're a teenager, you will understand." Instead of saying all that, at that moment, whatever is apt for that age group, if we could talk to the child. And I am a great believer in the power of storytelling. So I feel that everything can be, you just have to make everything into a story and talk to them. And they will remember that. I feel that, it will stay with them for a longer time and they will understand it much better.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I think storytelling really does have a huge effect on children and even on adults, right? It stays with us for a longer time. This is an open question. How do we create, as caregivers or parents, a safe place for children to communicate how they're feeling?
Can I go first? So I think first and foremost, the most trusted person, or the first counselor and the first friend, and I mean everything in this world is the mother to the child. I feel the mother should often tell the children that you can talk to me about anything, even if you feel scared, or if you're doubtful, or if someone tells you don't tell your mom about this, then you have to particularly come and tell me. Especially in such circumstances, you have to come and tell me. If somebody prevents you from telling this to your parents, if they say don't tell your mother, or don't tell your brother or anybody in the family, so that creating that atmosphere, and telling the child that family and siblings, the unit that lives together under one roof, that we are so important to each other, that no matter what happens outside and what your experiences are or what you observe, you have to come and tell us, and I won't be angry. And in case at some point mothers or fathers, everybody is so overworked, at that point we may not have the patience. So we can always say, I'll definitely talk to you about this. Maybe this weekend, how about this weekend we talk about this, and why don't you please remind me? And the children will definitely will want to have that conversation with you. And I feel that, for the parents, the children should be the first priority. They should know that no matter what happens, for my parents, I am the first priority. It's not about what the society says, or it's not about, oh, if you talk, don't talk like this, your teacher will get angry. None of that. Once we instill that confidence in the child that I am my first priority to my mother or father or to my family, I think they will be more open and come back to us, and we can have more conversations about this.
I think adding on to what ma'am was saying, that in simple things, in simple everyday things, is how we make our children feel safe. From as young as a newborn child, when they're crying, or when we try to distract them, we say, "Look there, look here, look at the car, look at this," and we try to make loud noises above their crying. What we're trying to communicate is, "I want you to stop crying. Your crying makes me uncomfortable, so please stop crying." So in that way, we negate whatever they're feeling. So let's say a child falls down, and then we lift the child up and say, "No, no, no, nothing, nothing. This is nothing. Stop crying. It's not a big deal. It will go away." So the moment we say something like that, it's almost like telling a child that your pain, what you feel in your body right now is not okay. You have to feel what I want you to feel. So in such a small situation, we tell our children that don't feel those feelings, because it's hard for me to deal with it. So somehow we make everything about us. In such a small way, we make them feel unsafe. So now they're feeling unsafe about what they are feeling within their own bodies. And later, this is, as a mother, if I'm doing this consistently for all of their emotions and feelings and tantrums and whatever they have to talk to me, "Amma, I'm feeling cold." "What do you mean you're feeling cold? It's 35 degrees outside. How can you feel cold? Remove your sweater." But the child is feeling cold. How will you know? "This food is spicy." "No, it's not spicy. I didn't even add any, I didn't add any spice because you don't like spicy food. How can you call this spicy?" So each small incident, if we tell them what you're experiencing and feeling is not the truth, we're making them question themselves about what they are going through. And today, when they come and tell us these small things, if we don't, treat it like big things, later on, they will obviously stop telling the big things also when they become teenagers. They're like, "Oh, anyway, they're going to brush it away. Anyway, they're going to negate what I'm going to say." So in small little things, as young as a newborn, we can start listening to them. When I say listen to them, I don't mean obey. I mean like hear them, make them feel heard, make them feel like they are valuable, they are part of the family, they are an integral part of the family, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you so much. This brings me to the next question, right? Sometimes you might not be prepared to answer a question, or you did not expect this question from your child. Like they're going to see someone kissing on the screen and go like, "Hey, why are they kissing?" Or someone in my class mentioned sex. What is sex? You're taken aback. And or even something as simple as the other day, I think Swati posted, Maya was asking her about a shower scene in a song, right? And you're trying to explain to the child, but like, how do you handle such situations?
Yes, first thing is, if I don't know, I'll tell her I don't know.
Exactly.
So I'm not an expert in anything. Maybe my followers, many of them think that I'm an expert in a lot of things, but I'm actually not. In my classes also, if adults themselves ask a question and if I don't know, I'll just tell them I don't know. There is this other person that knows about it. Goda Haripriya takes classes on something else. This is not my field. So exactly like that is how I behave at home also with her. If I don't know, I tell her I don't know. But then I can get back with an answer. I can read about it. I can understand the concept and I can talk to you about it. And I make sure that I get back to her. But there are a lot of parents who take it as a great opportunity to just escape. Oh my God, I told her I don't know. And then the child said, okay, now it's fine. Right. But when you get back to the child after a couple of days, what you're actually helping the child understand is you need to give value to the words that you say. If you say that you're going to get back, then when they get back, your the way they see you will actually the respect towards you as a person will actually get better. Oh my God. Oh yeah, even I had forgotten that I had asked this to Amma, and then Amma is getting back to me with an answer now. So that's how I take it. And if I know what it is, then I give her the most simplest answer in the way that she understands. And usually what happens is, if she's not able to follow, she'll tell me that Amma, I don't understand that, and then I tell her, maybe we can talk about it after some time, are you okay with that? And she'll be like, yeah, okay, because she trusts me that I'll anyway give her an answer. So because we already have that established trust there, where even if I tell her that, maybe I don't think you'll understand this if I tell you now, she's actually okay with it. She's like, oh, okay, Ma, fine, tell me later. Bye. That's all. So we just end the conversation there. So that's how I do it at home.
And also, the more taken aback we are, I see it as an opportunity for us to get clarity ourselves as adults. Because children have a knack of asking the most simplest questions for which we don't know the answer. Like, what is honesty? What is loyalty? Not even anything related to sex ed, but just basic things like, but why did you lie? But you said, why did you say that on the phone? That is lying, right? Why did you do that? So they have a knack of catching us in situations like that, for which we will many times be taken aback. So, like Swati said, the more you escape from it, if you think, "Oh my God, I escaped," I think we're letting ourselves down also in the process. So, if you try answering the uncomfortable questions, actually we get a lot of clarity as adults.
And what I would like to add here is, I'm not saying that this is a solution to everything, but to what Swati and Haripriya have been saying, another solution also is, I have seen that in Western countries, whenever the children ask something like, what is a ghost? Or what are clouds? For everything, most of the time, I'm not saying like every time, but most of the time, the parents buy them these small books, 5-page books, or 6-page books, where age appropriate, like for kindergartner, that age group. There are books according to age group. So which very very cutely and very nicely, it explains what it is about, or what is fear, what is a fear of ghosts, or some those kind of things. So it's like, indirectly, since I'm a storyteller, I'm always going to take you to storytelling. So this is another way of putting them into the habit of reading, and also telling them that you can find different answers by doing your own research or trying to find it on your own. I know that everybody can't afford to, it's that, oh, you asked a question, tomorrow I'm going to go buy you a book. Definitely, I'm not saying that that is a solution, but if you have your own, if you create your own friends group, you have like a group of friends who have children in the same age group, if you could all like invest in even second hand books, or there are many places where you get books at a very low cost, so that the child also should not think that, oh, for everything I can, I can get whatever I want, I can ask her for anything. No. So if saying that, why don't we keep this for the reading hour, let's read the book together and let's try to understand on certain topics. I think this is also a very soft and a nice way of introducing um, various topics to the children.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now just wanted to ask. Sometimes there might be instances when you would actually lose your cool. How much ever patient you are and like you're willing to answer, you lose your cool and you maybe snap at your child. How do you at that point? How do you take it forward? Like how do you explain that to your child?
Did you mean child or spouse? Or because the answer is same for everybody. You can include the spouse also in this. Spouse, siblings, my parents, everybody. Because the answer is the same. If you snap at anybody, you apologize. This is the first thing that you do. For something that they didn't do, I always apologize. I say, I'm very sorry for saying that. I want to rephrase it again. That's something that I found recently. This is what. So I say something and then I'll be like, oh, that was very inappropriate. And then I'll be like, oh, I would like to, come from first. Can we have this conversation from the beginning and see if we can do this in a better way? That's one. Or I'll apologize. That's the first thing that I always do. I'm like, I'm sorry, Sarangan. I shouldn't have said it in that tone. It was not your mistake that I'm angry. There are a lot of things on my head. So I think I just took that energy out on you. I would like to try again. Or can we talk about this after 5 minutes after I'm a lot more calmer, so I don't take it out on you.
And there would be instances when they don't.
So I think introducing to the concept that we are all human at the end of the day, and of course, life is not a fairy tale, and we have our happy moments, good moments. At the same time, we may have moments where we are not tolerant, or definitely, I mean, women, we have our mood swings and so many things going on. So I think definitely, I believe that for everything, talking to the child, communication, communication, communication. That is the mantra, I feel. More communication and more communication.
I do the same only, like Goda said, I apologize. And actually, I tried Goda's technique 4-5 days back. I was on my period. So I snapped at her and like she was asking something. I was getting ready or something. And then she was like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Maya, what, Maya? I just said something like that. And she just stood there like that. I said, oh my goodness. Baby, I'm so sorry. You know that I'm on period, no? So you know how it is. Okay. Can I come back again? Can I start this conversation again? I told her. I've never used that with her. It was after one of Goda's posts that I tried it. And she said, yeah, okay. And I said the same thing. Okay, I'm getting ready. I don't want you to disturb me in between this. I'll finish this and then I'll come to you and then you explain it to me. And she was like, okay, fine. No problem. And then she left. So they forgive so quickly. They forgive us so quickly, and that's a very heart melting moment for every parent. When we ask, "Can you forgive me? I'm sorry," and they'll be like, "Okay, fine, no problem." They're fine. They quickly get back. They're very resilient that way. Yeah.
That's great, actually. I'm just trying to recollect if I've ever been apologized to like that, and I'm so glad that new age parents are doing that. Great job.
It's a great time to be a parent and a child now, I feel, because there's a lot more camaraderie between the parents and the children now.
Yeah. So I have one more question. How do you treat your child as an individual and also remember that they are children? How do you give them that autonomy? How do you feel?
See, we already got the answer.
Yeah. So he's asking me what I'm doing. And like this, the one I'm signaling you for your mute. Yeah. So I think it's a beautiful dance that we have with our children. The answer to this, it's a dance. The more and more we realize that they are individuals. Like, might sound a little too spiritual, but that's how I see it. We're all made up of the same stuff on the inside. Okay, and I'm trying to see myself as a child more and more every day. So it kind of syncs very well for me to see him as a child also, because we're all, made up of the same stuff on the inside and also on the outside. We're trying to act like we're big people, but we're not actually. So we're not all that sorted at all. So that's how I am able to connect and relate so much to children that. We're all, at the end of the day, when we go to sleep, all of us are just the same. So giving autonomy is, when you, in small things, you begin small, and then as they grow older, you realize that, oh, okay, my child is growing. They're able to make so many decisions on their own, and then just go with the flow and you let them make their own decisions like that. But it begins with the thought that I'm a separate person, you are a separate person. And like Carl Gibran always says that they are not our children, they just come through us. They are not ours. We don't own them in any way. So that puts things in perspective for me.
And especially what I have seen with, I think, um, uh, I don't want to generalize, but some of the Indian parents I have seen that when um, we think that, I mean, this is connected to what Goda just said, that we think that when somebody says hello to a child, and if the child doesn't answer, we will, lift the child's hand and say tata, say bye bye, say bye bye, like you're, uh, because we think that the other person might think that, oh, the child doesn't have good manners. But it's okay. It's okay if the child doesn't smile at somebody, or if the child at that moment, doesn't say hi to someone. I'll tell you an example. I had a personal example. I was at a shopping mall in America. And I saw a child, and I just can't hold back whenever I see children. I just wave or smile at them, and I just said hi. And the child looked at me, and it turned its face. And the mom was the child just looked at me and turned away. That's all. It didn't. I mean, it didn't do anything. It just turned away. And the mom said, "Oh, looks like it's not just his day." And I was so amazed that the mom is considering the child as an individual, and instead of saying say hi to auntie, say hello to uncle, instead of that, she's respecting what the child. So I think that has to we need to learn a lot of that. So whether when the child says, when it comes to food or anything, clothes, like she said, you're feeling cold, and we might cover the over dress them up and put too many sweaters, or we might say no, it's very hot, and put. So the child knows its body, and when the child is conveying something to us, we just have to be a little patient. If the child says I'm feeling cold and put a sweater, and after some time the child says no, not cold anymore, so okay, now the child realized, okay, it's summer or whatever, for whatever reasons the child doesn't want to wear a sweater. So I think these things should be added to a mother or a caregiver's curriculum, instead of, okay, job done, my job is done, we look at it as a chore being completed. If we could get into this mind frame, I think it'll be easier for us to treat the child as an individual.
Should I say, or have you got enough points? Okay, fine. So for me also it's the same. I mean, I believe autonomy is not something that you give, but autonomy is something that everybody has. So you have to understand that your child has its own autonomy. And like Goda said, I see her whenever I see her. I see her as a teenager. I see her as an adult. I can visualize her in different forms. I can visualize her going for job. I can visualize her taking her own mega big decisions. Now she's just tiny. That's all. That's all I think of her. I think of her as a small human being, but she's very much a human being, just like me. So this thinking into the future thing has helped me a lot in my parenting journey. For example, it's very difficult for me to eat something and then look at the phone also at the same time, because I then quickly think of her teenage when she gets a phone and she is looking at the phone when she's eating. I won't be able to ask anything because I have been doing the same thing. So a lot of that looking into the future thing has also helped me imagine her as an autonomous being. Yeah, so a moderator has gone.
So we can, I think, continue to speak. So it's very interesting to hear both you, Swati, and Goda.
Yeah, you too.
To get
Actually,
to
yeah.
get a
Just
young parents' perspective, parents, and of course,
you're also young.
thank you. No, I mean the fresh parents. I can say parents who
Fresh
are
parent.
just new parents. I always believe that we are a fresh parent every day, because today
Yes.
the child is 6 months old, tomorrow 6 months, and one day, every new day you are a new parent along with the child.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry, there was a small
No
glitch
problem.
there. Yeah.
no
So
problem.
just going back to the conversation. So this, I'm just taking a different tangent here. Do you think a child has the understanding of abuse, and how do you introduce a concept like abuse to a child?
Yeah.
Swati?
So I haven't introduced the concept of abuse to her. That's the fact. But what I have introduced to her is how healthy relationships should look like. So she knows how consent needs to be followed in any relationship, how boundaries are very, very important, how everybody has their own boundaries. You should also feel safe. You should also make others also feel safe. So these conversations we've had, whenever you feel unsafe or uncomfortable or awkward or difficult with anybody, you can immediately get away from there. You don't have to be there. How much ever close this person is to Amma or Appa or whoever it is, you don't have to be there. So you can give them some excuse and then get away from there. Or if running works, then you can run away from there. Immediately come and talk to Amma. So I have never said this thing like, you'll be abused, you'll be touched here and there are people who are going around with all these bad intentions. No, I haven't said her anything like that. I have given her the positive way of looking at relationships and emotions and communicating with people. And I believe that she has understood that very well, which means she is capable of understanding if somebody makes her feel weird in any way. So when everybody behaves in negative manner, you won't be able to understand uh, the the abuser out of those negative people. If everybody is behaving very positively with her, if there is a potential abuser anywhere, then even the slightest handshake, which can actually take a couple of seconds longer, can help her identify that this person is or her intention is not really good, or I don't have to spend a lot of time with this person. So that's how I have taken this subject of abuse. I have never spoken about abuse to her. So I use the analogy of driving in my sex ed classes. If you have a car and then you go to an expert to learn driving, and this expert is going on talking about accidents all the time, then you will not even take this car outside. Instead of that, if I teach them driving, if I teach her all the parts of the car and how to drive and what are all the rules and regulations that you need to follow, then it's up to her to prevent accidents. Right. So I believe you won't be able to teach anything through fear. Uh, Nobody will learn anything if there's fear associated with it. Uh, Teach them about positive sexuality, then they will identify if there is somebody with a negative intention anywhere. Like today, something happened. I was at the doctor's clinic, and it was a gynecology clinic, and I was taken behind the curtain, and she was sitting in front of the doctor's table. Doctor came in. I was there. Nurses were there, and on the way back, she asked me, "Amma, what sort of checkup did they do?" Then I told her, what pictures did you see in front of the doctor? I saw a lot of babies, mummy's picture, and so what kind of a doctor would that be? Mummy's doctor? Yeah, mummy's doctor. Okay, so what do they check? What do you think they check? Do they check vulvas and vaginas? I said, yeah. So did they check that for you? I said, yeah, they might have. How did you show that to them? And I was like, it's a doctor, and it's with my consent that I showed. Oh, okay. I will not show mine to anybody. But if there is a problem and if you are around me, then I'm okay. Fine. So she's able to take her own decisions based on what just happened. I could have very well made her sit outside the room also, but there she was being a child. She said, Amma, I cannot sit outside, Amma. So I told her to come inside. So there is that child element everywhere. There is also that safety element and that sex ed element also that I inject in between here and there. So whatever she knows, she's still a child.
Very, very beautifully answered.
Meghna, on that note, I also would like to add that all babies are innately born with a sensor within them. Everybody knows, as young as a 2-day old, a just newborn getting out of the womb knows what makes them feel safe and unsafe. So your question about do children know about abuse? Yeah, they do. They do. Like when they feel unsafe, they feel violated, they feel abused, and I think a lot of abuse happens every day in Indian families without us knowing, right in front of our eyes. It's called force feeding. Yeah, it is. It's a form of abuse. So children know them very well. It's just very normalized that they think, okay, adults know better than me about my own body, so I'll give consent. this is how we start the culture of giving away our autonomy. Yeah.
And I also feel
So we
that,
could, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So there are different kinds of abuse: physical, mental, sexual abuse. And so the first thing, of course, I think physical abuse may not happen in schools as it used to happen earlier, but definitely few things that I feel that they have to be told about, exactly, like telling them the boundaries, that, this is the boundary. And so when you go to the restroom, this is what you don't show your private parts to anybody unless you have your mother's consent, unless your mother allows you to do it, or either your mother or father are with you. So those kind of things, definitely, I think when they start going to school, maybe like first grade, before first grade, first standard, it would be nice if we can have a conversation. And also now, of course, mental abuse, everybody has recognized that. And that's a very big thing, which is happening every day to all of us in some form or the other. And we probably don't even know. We don't even know that haven't even given it a name as mental abuse. So, of course, that's for later years, definitely. But I feel body safety should be introduced and spoken with the children as early as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. These are such great points, and I hope like everybody listening to this conversation are like taking notes. I just have a question, just following up with what Rama just said. So this is what we're doing from parenting side, right? So do you think that there is a need for formal sex education at formal level, right? Like in schools, colleges. Do you think that there's a need for it, or parenting enough? Is it alone enough?
1000% needed.
Yeah, I was just asking if Harpriya or Swati had to add anything to that.
Yeah, the more the better, right? The more places that talk about it, the more the child gets to feel that they value, that they matter. It makes a difference. So I'm somebody who believes that sex education has to happen for the adults who work around children, because it's easy for the adults to understand and then to explain to the child, rather than just going to colleges and just at 17 years randomly if you begin talking about sex ed. Not that we can't, but we can. It's better for children to hear it from trusted sources than some random person coming once or twice and then just walking out of their lives.
Yeah, so as a sexuality health educator and also as a parent, I would not want Goda to take class for my daughter. So I am not comfortable in somebody else explaining, because I don't know what they're going to explain. I know Goda is capable, but I don't know about her personal value systems, about anything, pornography or masturbation or whatever it is. My value systems should be something that gets carried on to my child. So I'm all for schools taking it up, and that's the best way that you can get this thing rolling in an organized format in this kind of a country. Schools are a great way to get this conversation going, but it should definitely happen within our households, because the child should feel somebody safe at home. Then they can be a safe, trusted adult at school. They can be a trusted adult where they go for tuitions. There can be these trusted adults everywhere where they can go share things. So I think it should be a very 360-degree, wherever, like Goda said, wherever the child goes, if everybody is talking about being safe and feeling safe and trusting each other and privacy and all that, no, they'll also feel double triple validated. Yeah, so this is something that's happening not just to me. A lot of people are going through, because a lot of children feel that they are the only ones who are going through certain things. But there is an awareness program in school, and they get to know that, oh, okay, so this is happening to so many people. Now I feel confident to open up. But then whom should I open up to? I cannot go open up to the school teacher because I'm not comfortable with her. Or there is this other teacher that I'm very comfortable with, but then I don't know when to go share it with her. Will my friends watch me going and sharing soon after the sex ed class? If I go and talk to somebody, will they know that I'm going through something? Okay, then I don't feel like sharing. But then when this child goes back home, there also nobody is there to share. Then what is the point of taking this sex abuse class? So I believe it should start at home, but in schools, yeah, it's good. It's good to have it at school, but it's best to have it in our own homes.
Great. Thank you so much. That answered so well. I just wanted to ask, I think maybe this would be more relevant to Swati and Haripriya. There is so much of your personal anecdotes and personal life on social media, right? Like your instances with Sarangan, Maya. Are there instances where you just want to go back and do things differently, but now it's all there? And also, follow-up question, maybe we answer this and then take this up too. Like, what do you think is the implications of having, I would call it new age parenting, because I think there's a great shift in parenting compared to what we have today, of them making it into content and posting it out there.
Okay, so first question is, you asked me if I have wished that I want to go back and do it again. If there comes a time like that, I'll make a post about that also. You know, in 2000 sometime I posted like that. Now my perceptions have changed, so this is what I think about it now. So that will be another post also out there. And like you say, putting out a lot of content is a double-edged sword. So the more and more a lot of parenting content comes out, I'm getting flooded by messages which say they feel inadequate about themselves as parents. So it's a balance of it's about striking the balance of I am this is what I do, but doesn't make you any less of a parent. You are the perfect parent for your child, and this is what I am doing. This is my journey, my path. So this influencing. Business, should I call it business? It's not, but the role of an influencer comes with a lot of responsibility. And when done with a lot of consciousness and awareness is when we can, there will be an organic growth for all of us involved. Or if I'm just putting out content for the sake of putting out content and getting followers, then I think we're just going more and more into more masking, more faking, and, more chaos is just getting added up. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, people think a lot of my personal life is on my feed, but actually, only 20% is 20 to 30% is there on the feed. 70% is still very personal and very private, which people don't know about. So I'm very glad that I'm not sharing everything out there, what I had for breakfast and where we went. I didn't share about the doctor's checkup this afternoon. Actually, when I was talking about it, I was thinking whether should I write about it or should I not write about it? So everything is seen as content. Actually, everything is content. Wherever you get to learn something, then it's content for me. It's content that I want my audience to learn something from. Because if I call myself an educator, then what else am I supposed to do, right? So that's how I see it. And so a lot of content, a lot of personal life is not there, which people don't know. But people think that they have that personal connect. So you need to keep that personal connect also going. I have to talk about something that I ate for dinner once in a while so that people think, oh, okay, she also orders food from Swiggy. I mean, she's also unhealthy at times. So she's like us. So there is that personal connect also in between that I have to create. But on the other hand, when it comes to the existing content and about your question about what will I do if I feel something that I said I don't resonate it with now. So I have more than 1,000 posts on my page and I've deleted more than 200 posts. So I go back and see what I've actually told before, and if something, if I've grown out of it, if I think that point will not help anybody in future, then I've deleted it. So that has happened, and I'm willing to correct also if there is something that I have grown out of and I want to talk about it. Then, like Goda said, I'll make another post about it and say, see, I thought this was okay, but then now I realize this is not okay. That's also content for me, so it's fine. It's okay. But on the other hand, the videos that I post with my daughter, that has been quite quite viral and all that, because people have not seen children talking about it or adult and child sitting and talking about it other than these advertisements on safety or those kind of things. Real time parent and child conversation, people have not seen it. I started making that content because I was just giving people content, and then people were asking questions about, okay, you tell that you talk about talking about all these things to your child very smoothly. How to do it? How are you doing it? Then I decided, okay, then I'll make a couple of videos and post it for example's sake. But what happened? People wanted more examples. I also got a lot of examples to talk about. My daughter was also okay with me getting them recorded. Sometimes when we have a nice conversation and then she says some amazing answer, I actually ask her, can we make this into a reel? And she'll be like, no, sorry, I'm not in a mood to record this. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll write about it. Are you okay with me writing about it? Yeah, okay, you can write about it. But sometimes she's in a mood to get it recorded. Then it's like a fun activity that we both do together. Okay, can you just repeat it for the reel? And she'll be like, how much time will it take? It's 30 seconds. Oh, okay, fine. So if she says okay, then I take it as a reel. So yeah, this is how I take it. So at one point, if she says, Amma, no more reels and videos with you, Amma, then it'll be just me on my page talking about whatever I want to talk about, but without her. Yeah.
Thank you. Did you at the beginning when you started creating content, did you think that it would become so big? Like people would recognize and people would resonate so much with it. Did you see it happen?
No, not me. Definitely not me.
No, I have not. I've always thought of creating an impact, but then creating an impact in the community where I am in. That's what I have visualized. I've always visualized myself as somebody who could create impact. Because I always used to do something out of the box right from school days. But the impact that I was creating was inside the WhatsApp group that we were in at that time when we started. So it was for the 15, 20 parents that I was creating that impact for. And we were impacting each other also. Me, Goda, Minu, or Kumuda, all of us, we were impacting each other. Then when it became a 200-member Facebook group, we were impacting each other again. So that was my community. Then when it became a 10,000 member Facebook group and an NGO, we were impacting this community in Coimbatore. Then when we started doing online classes, we were impacting people outside Coimbatore. Then when it became an Instagram page of 50K people, then I was impacting that 50K people. Now it is an Instagram page of 3 lakh people. Now that is my community. So I'm creating impact wherever I am. That's what I've been doing all this while. So I have not thought of what will happen after 5 years, 10 years when I started doing what I'm doing.
I just have to tell you that you're doing a great job, and I think the community will keep growing. No pressure though. I'm just going to take a couple of questions from the chat. So I think mostly it's around cross-dressing. The question is, how would you react to your child if they want to cross-dress publicly, that they want to go out in public? That's the question.
I should answer. The question is for me or anybody?
Anybody, but it's more apt for.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, with whatever I'm following in my life, I'll be totally cool with what she's doing. But there is a little bit of a confusion here because she is biologically female, which means we are okay with biological females wearing conventional male clothing. But then we are not okay with the reverse. We don't get to see that very often. You have to just check Alok Menon's page to know how much of bad messages he gets for just wearing what he wants to wear. But yeah, we have had. I can talk from another mother who has had a boy male baby in our group. That time I didn't know Goda, so I don't know if Goda will be okay with her son wearing skirt. You have to talk about it, Goda. But with another lady, she was totally cool. I mean, she used to bring her boy in frocks to our support group meets. And the first couple of meets, I thought it was a girl. Obviously, I'm also gender stereotyped. So I thought it was a girl. And then she came to me and she said, do you have any of Maya's smaller frocks and old frocks and all, I'm willing to buy that. And I'm like, you don't have a girl. No, no, for him only. For him only. I want him to wear this once in a while. She was so cool about it. He is the first gender neutral parent I have seen when we had that 15-member WhatsApp group. And that really opened my eyes towards being open to doing all these things with your children, being open to letting your child be fluid for as long as they want to be. And when they decide to, okay, my gender is this, I'm more comfortable in these kind of clothes. I would like to stick with this kind of a gender expression. I would like to express my gender in this manner. Then they will anyway pave their own path at one point. Until then, a parent can remain as fluid as possible is my outlook. But then people won't be too convinced with my answer because I have a girl, and people are okay with girls wearing shorts and pants and all that, but people are not okay with the other.
So Saravan is very, very fond of bangles, bindi, anything in the we consider feminine. So he's somebody like that. Okay. So what we do is I let him do whatever he wants to do. And there are times where he's wanted to wear it outside. I've told him that you wear it, do whatever you want to do. And if there are comments, just listen to it because this is how we are stereotyped. Like, boys, usually not many people have seen boys wearing bangles or skirts. So there might be comments which will tell you something like, why are you doing this? Are you a girl for wearing all this? So I've always told him that if you hear comments like that, just let it pass because they have not seen it. It's not normalized yet. That's the only thing I've told him. And he's cool. He's cool wearing it. He said, I have no problem. I'm like, then I have no problem. It's up to you.
Thank you so much for answering that question. And also, our time's up. I think we'll have to wrap up the conversation now. Thank you so much for joining and giving such great inputs. I'm sure it's just like I've taken so many things away from this conversation, and it was such a pleasure to talk to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely talk.
Bye-bye.
Bye.